We only just finished our review of the AYANEO Pocket DMG, a great handheld that has huge potential, but it's limited with the square display and single analog stick, and it is packed with a lot of power. And I was hoping this would come in a horizontal form factor, which now we do have. This is the AYANEO Pocket ACE, a phenomenal device that has some issues, but I think is a great all-rounder and a one-and-done type of handheld for those wanting something incredibly powerful, portable, and beautiful. This device ranges from $340 to $600 depending on how much RAM you go for and whether or not you want to pre-order it on Indiegogo. Typical with AYANEO, the price will go up considerably after the crowdfunding campaign is over. So if you do want this, it's best to get in early because it goes up like 50 to 100 bucks, which is obscene. This means it's located in the premium handheld category, which puts it in the battlefield with the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck, and even the Nintendo Switch 2 when it launches soon. In terms of design, it looks super minimal with modern touches around the device such as the glass front, the retro transparent buttons, a gorgeous 4.5-inch IPS borderless display, and analog triggers. It's impressive how AYANEO can keep making handhelds that look super modern in a market that's just oversaturated with handhelds that come out every other week. The build quality, like every other AYANEO product, is superb, but not on the same level as the recent AYANEO Pocket Micro, which has a gorgeous metal shell that actually stops me from wanting to take it outside of the house. The Ace's plastic body still feels smooth in the hands and sturdy enough to feel comfortable using it daily on the go. I feel more confident taking the Ace out into the real world than I would the Pocket Micro or any other metal device because this just will take those bumps and scratches because of the somewhat flexible plastic. The buttons across the face are very comfortable and perfectly located so that I have full motion. The D-pad flexible for a wide amount of different gaming genres, and the action buttons are clicky yet reactive with just enough travel and pressure to them. However, I would have liked to see 6 action buttons here instead of the 4. And finally, the whole joysticks have a great feel to them, but there are no signature LEDs behind this like some of AYANEO's more expensive products. The chin houses 4 buttons that do different things, such as opening up your apps, a turbo button that switches output modes, an AYANEO button that opens up your console preferences, allowing you to see usage and change the performance details on the fly, and then there's an Android button that opens up your tabs. These work well and are located away from the start and select buttons to not cause any confusion, which helps me dearly as I like to set start and select buttons for emulation, so it gives me enough buttons to operate on a gaming level and a console level. The final features on the chin are the front-facing speakers designed to be super sleek, and that they are. Between all of the buttons on the face, you will find a borderless 4.5-inch IPS display with a 3.2 aspect ratio and a resolution of 1080p and 550 nits of brightness, making it easily visible when outdoors. There's no denying that the colors and the brightness combined with the lovely aspect ratio makes this a beautiful display. Yet, and it really annoys me because this could have been a perfect device. It has pretty damn obvious light bleed, and that's not good on a $340 to $600 device. They should have seen this, and I'm praying to God that this is just on review units or my unit alone, but I'm reviewing this as is. So I would recommend going to watch other video reviews to see if there is light bleed, on those units. If not, it might just be my device, but unfortunately the light bleed on here is pretty substantial. Up top you will find large, comfortable shoulder buttons, 2 analog triggers which work well on your games that require it, and between them you'll find your fingerprint recognition, sleep button, volume buttons, 2 small LC and RC buttons that can be mapped to anything you please, and ventilation. Again, I'll say it, there's no denying that AYANEO knows how to make a beautifully crafted and comfortable device, and the AYANEO Ace is a prime example of that. It feels perfect in the hand, durable, comfortable, the analog shoulder buttons, the whole joysticks. It's just honestly a lovely device that I cannot put down, and it comes everywhere with me because it's reliable, and not only just from a physical perspective, but from an emulation perspective as well. AYANEO Space is something that I've had a rough relationship with over the past, but I can see that it's obvious that AYANEO are taking steps to make this a more pleasant experience from the setup to daily usage. It will still need some time and patience to set up, but once done, you have all of your retro games in one space alongside your console settings to tweak as you play. It's a nice user interface that brings the entire handheld into one hub, as it's running Android on the back end, which allows you to install other Android games and cloud streaming apps to turn this device into a multi-gaming device, which it's certainly capable of because of the hefty specs. What I would like to see is an update that automatically finds the box art for my ROM library. This was available on older updates, but it didn't work, which you can see in our other reviews. So I believe that they have removed this entirely, which is a shame, as Go Retroid has this feature and it's as easy as pressing 2 or 3 buttons which does it for you. So for those of you like me that have all of your ROM files but not the box art, you install your SD card on, you want to play and it's just a bunch of text, I need something. I know this may look a little bit newbie, but I'm doing this from the perspective that this is what most people are going to do, and I don't want a bunch of text, and I want AYANEO space to look super nice. So having a button that instantly installs the box art for me would be super helpful and valuable in my opinion. Internally, my review unit has a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 CPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. This thing is an absolute beast, and it is the top end of the specs when it comes to the AYANEO Pocket ACE portfolio. So as any nerd would, I jumped straight into PlayStation 2 emulation. Yes, the Pocket Ace exceeded my expectations here, and I was able to emulate most of my favorite PS2 games with confidence at 2x native resolution and beyond with 0 hiccups. It required max or gaming mode, which turns on the fans and saps a little bit more battery life, but due to the 6000 mAh battery, you can emulate these PS2 games for hours on end in a pocket-friendly form factor with impressive comfortability and a clean user interface. It's one of those handhelds, when tweaked to your preferences, it becomes an incredible little device that you want to take everywhere with you because, again, it's reliable. GameCube emulation is also great, allowing me to play the classics with all of my buttons and sticks, and although there are black borders like many emulators, it looks and sounds gorgeous on this thing. To fill up more of the screen and take advantage of that 1080p display, I emulated PSP games, and I know this is a normal thing to emulate these days, but the form factor of the device just felt incredibly natural here. With these consoles playing well, it's obvious that older consoles will also likely perform well, and that it does. Game Boy Advance is again a joy to play on thanks to the 3:2 screen ratio on the Ace. It fills up every inch of the display in a bright, colourful way with loudspeakers to accompany it. And you guessed it, NES, Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, Game Boy, SNES, PlayStation 1 and more all work well on here because quite simply it's just jam-packed with so much power. Some would say too much power, but PS2 emulation works an absolute treat, and that is, for me, where I would say retro semi-stops. You could say Nintendo Wii, whatever, but PS2 is where I want to play all of my retro games on a handheld device, and that it does incredibly well, making it a all-round juggernaut of a device if you are willing to pay the price. And that is the issue I'm coming across here. I've been writing this review for ages, planning this video, and as much as I love this device, it's expensive. It's in a niche where it's targeting retro gamers and Android gamers and cloud streamers that have no budget. It's going to be a $500 device after shipping and the specs that you probably want, which puts it in a category that is, you know, just competitive and big. But that's where this thing is magical. You get all of that power in a pocket-friendly device that looks gorgeous. And by pocket, you can fit this in your pocket. This goes on the plane, the train with me. It's an absolute beast. And when others are pulling out their big Steam Deck to emulate PlayStation 2 and GameCube games, I'm like, come on, that is just too much to take with you to emulate such a small console. This does it, and it's in my pocket. It's literally in my front jeans pocket. But yes, it costs the same price as a Steam Deck. And yes, I must say there is a competitor that is cheaper than the AYANEO Pocket Ace, and it is the Retroid Pocket 5. Go Retroid are absolutely nailing it. Well, I say that you don't want to hear about the Retroid Pocket Mini, 5 Mini that had some screen issues, but the Pocket 5 is an absolute beast. This is far more powerful. It has a 3:2 display, whereas this is slightly less powerful and is 16:9 and can do some PS2 games. This emulates, I have to watch what I say here, this emulates a majority of PS2 games well, this will absolutely smash PS2 games in 2x native resolution. So if you don't have a budget, go for the AYANEO Pocket Ace. It feels better, it will perform much better, and it's just a far more pleasant and more reliable device than the Retro Pocket 5. But I understand that this is $100 cheaper, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with this if you want GameCube and a little bit of PS2. So I guess it comes down to budget there. So check out our review online of the Pocket 5. And there you have it, my personal opinions of the AYANEO Pocket Ace. I think it's an awesome device that AYANEO should be proud of. However, I don't know how that likely got through your quality control team, and I am hoping that it is just my unit. It could well be, so do check other reviews just to be sure before you snag this on Indiegogo. And again, I will mention, I don't want to, create any FOMO here, because these will probably reduce in price in a couple of years. It's how it is. But if you do want to grab hold of it and want to save a few bucks, it is on Indiegogo. You do get an early bird price, or otherwise it will go up to about 50 to 100 bucks after that crowdfunding campaign ends. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, do hit subscribe, and you can become a member on our website for ad-free reading and a bunch of goodies too. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.